Recovery is the most important thing for athletes, especially high school athletes. Core cryotherapy and wellness. Core cryotherapy and wellness. If you have a high school tennis player, football, softball, soccer, working out 5 days a week, playing games, recovery is the most important thing. Core cryotherapy and wellness in the township across from Sombra. And they have several different options for your student athlete, male or female, but recovery is the most important. Whether it's after Friday night lights or a couple of tennis matches, workouts, weight room, you cannot perform at the level you want to perform at without the right recovery. Recovery. Core cryotherapy and wellness in the township across from Sombra. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Lunch today brought to you by Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue in Madison. B3, baby. Dirty Bird wrap, any kind of cheeseburger, fried pickles, Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue. Madison and Brandon. Flowwood coming in a couple of weeks. We want to welcome in our friend, Roll Tide Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game, Tuscaloosa. And I think we've got a big one in Tuscaloosa tomorrow. Ole Miss at Bama. Bama looks vulnerable. I mean, Ole Miss doesn't look good. Neither team looks good. But it's a weird year. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's all the transfer portal and moving around and NIL or what. But it looks like some weird stuff going on. So we welcome in Ryan Fowler, Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Ryan, I just want you to know that Jason, my producer, who's an Ole Miss alum, picked Ole Miss to win 42-30 tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah. Well, he's suffering from Alabama arrogance, Vanderbilt Trophy Academy. Alabama arrogance, Vanderbilt Trophy Academy. That's the biggest problem. That's what Ole Miss is. Alabama arrogance, Vanderbilt Trophy Academy. Remember that. So I need to check with real quick because I just looked at my checking account, and for some reason the copay that I paid you earlier this week because you came on as a therapist, it did not go through.
Well, I kind of laid it out on your show, didn't I? What was the reaction after I said what I'd said? Was it good, bad, indifferent? What happened?
Well, we had two different people that you know, they were on one side, and it was, I said, are you where he is or are you where Bo is? Where are you at? Listen, Alabama has not played good up until this point. They played sloppy. They've been an ugly-looking football team. Do I think they could get it back on track to beat Ole Miss? I mean, you got to remember, you go back to 2000. Alabama was having the worst season probably in the history of football, right? 3-8. Deuce McAllister came over. Alabama beat them in the 50s to 7, I think it was. So even sometimes during the bad days, they don't win a lot in Bryant-Denny Stadium. But I asked the question that Connor O'Gara asked yesterday on my show. If not now, when? If Lane Kiffin's ever going to get a win against Alabama, it's got to be this year. Like if Ole Miss walks out of Bryant-Denny tomorrow and the way that this Alabama team has struggled, if they're not able to come out with a W, I think they have to look themselves in the mirror tomorrow evening and say, you know what? It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen with Lane Kiffin. He's probably hit his ceiling. Because this team is set up. Vegas believes that it's a chance. I think it's a fourth quarter football game.
Okay.
I don't think it's a blowout. So, you know, but we've got plans for Pete, though. We got somebody that's going to let him have some fun this evening on our expense. So we got a plan over here. Pete's going to come back to his old stomping grounds, and you know, Lane's coming back to his old stomping grounds.
Are they going to kick it in a couple of bars tonight, or what?
Well, you never know. You never know. We got some plans. Just wink, wink. We're going to see what we can do. I mean, Nick Saban says everybody has a role on the team, and so do we.
Okay. Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game,
Hey,
Tuscaloosa.
You got to do what it takes. I mean, we're in desperation mode over here. I mean, Alabama loses to Ole Miss, we get ready for 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, this
it's over.
I mean, we could be out of it before September. Let that sink in.
You could be out of it before the fair comes to town. Goodness gracious.
I mean, first day of fall yesterday. Listen, this team has been all over the board. Something tells me, I don't know, and maybe it's just wishful thinking, that they somehow get it together tomorrow. I don't know why. I don't even have a gut feeling. It's just, can I really see 3 sloppy games in a row by a Nick Saban football team? That's the part that I haven't seen, and we'll see if we see it this week. But
all right, well, let me jump in here. Ryan Fowler on the show. Mudbugs is open this weekend. First time they've opened during crawfish season, West Government Street, downtown Brandon. They'll have the games on, including high school football tonight, college football tomorrow, and NFL. They're usually open January through June for crawfish season, but they've got the great wings. They've got the amazing shrimp, mushrooms, pulled pork sandwiches, quesadillas, all at Mudbugs, downtown Brandon, West Government Street. Mudbugs, downtown Brandon, open today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Ryan Fowler saying, hey, I can't see a Saban team play poorly 3 games in a row. You know, we had Bartu on yesterday, one of our friends, mutual friends, and he said Bama obviously has more talent, but Ole Miss overwhelming has the better play callers in Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding.
Oh, I'm not really ready to give Pete Golding that free pass. Lane Kiffin, I will buy every day, twice on Sunday. He's the best play caller I've ever seen in Tuscaloosa.
Well, actually, Sark technically is better, according to Bartu, but Lane is considered one of the top ones in the country. Go ahead.
Well, but Sark had pretty amazing talent at that quarterback spot. I mean, so when you think about Lane Kiffin, he was working with Blake Sims, Jacob Coker, and Jalen Hurts as a true freshman. Let that sink in.
No, he did a fabulous job. No question.
Yeah. I mean, he did more with less. And listen, on the defensive side of the football, Kevin Steele's doing more with less. Pete Golding did less with more last year when you look at that football team. This team is more fundamentally sound. That doesn't mean anything because he's still having to clean up a lot of areas. But Pete Golding, we're happy for him. We're glad he's having success, and I hope that everything's working out for him and his family. I know it was a family move over there to Oxford, Mississippi, but it's time to strap them up and let's see. And I'm sure, listen, these coordinators would love to try to find a way to come at Tuscaloosa.
Heck yeah.
And beat Nick Saban. I mean, everybody else has got to win against Nick Saban. Might as well be these guys. So, if not now, when? I mean, is that not a fair question? I mean, if he doesn't get them now, when will you ever get him? I mean, this is a team that's just limping into their own home stadium. They feel like they're wounded. There's quarterbacks going in and out, and who knows who will play tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be Jalen Milroe, but what if they struggle? Who do you go to there? What if they get in a shootout?
Well, hold on. Let's go with Milroe. Milroe is very, very talented. I'm not worried about what he can't do. That's a waste of time. He can do a bunch of cool things as a quarterback. He's a pretty good thrower and amazing with his legs. Do you think Tommy Rees will actually let him play tomorrow?
That is the $1 million question, because if it was, I'd look to my checking account. I'd go down here to the Alabama Credit Union, and I'd go right over to your sponsor over in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and I'd take the Tide minus the 6.5. Because if I knew that, I believe I would feel a lot more confident. I'm not very confident in Tommy Rees yet. I'm learning things about him. I think he's on the clock. We've watched Nick Saban before change a coordinator. We watched Tosh Lupoi 4 games in, lose his defensive play calling responsibility.
To who? Who was it then?
It was actually Pete Golding. Pete Golding was 2018.
Okay.
That's where Pete kind of got through into the fire. So we gave him a mulligan on that year.
Okay.
But there's some guys that.
But dude, hey, Ole Miss doesn't have a pass rush, and their linebackers don't look good to me. If who's your best running back?
I would say Roydell Williams at this point. He's the backup.
If
McClellan's the starter, but it just doesn't look great.
Okay, but I mean, I'm assuming both these guys are 4 or 5 star players.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't do anything but 5 stars over here.
Right. So, I mean, here you are. Ole Miss hasn't shown me anything as far as an edge rusher. Their linebackers don't look good. I mean, dude, if you can't run the zone read against Ole Miss, like you said, it's basketball season in Tuscaloosa because
45 days away from Nate Oates, by the way. 45 days.
45, yeah. So
I mean, we've never counted this early. I mean, just over here.
Well, maybe Nate may have to take over the football team, but the bottom line is, I'm just telling you, depending on how many design runs Tommy Reese calls for Jalen Milroe and RPOs and zone reads, Ole Miss hasn't shown us anything on defense. I mean, I know your team's been sloppy too, and your left and right tackle can't block me. So anyway, this is going to be interesting.
That's what I said. It's a fourth quarter game. See what you do to me, Bo. I come on this show and I was confident that Alabama was going to win, and then here you go. I mean, you're like I'm an alcoholic. We don't drink, but like I'm trying to quit. And you're over there pouring me like big glasses or something. I mean, Bo, I thought you were a friend, man. I mean, here you are. You pushed me to the edge. Okay. I mean,
I can't believe. You know what I can't believe, Ron? I can't believe that Bama is what they are. Now, this is different tiers, and Ole Miss is what they are this year. Because Lane in year 4, I expected more, especially with all the buzz around, we spent a fortune in the portal. And then Bama's Bama. They're just the number 1 recruiter, along with Georgia every year.
Doesn't Ole Miss always spend money in the portal? I mean, isn't that kind of a tradition?
Yeah. So
what's different?
Well, here's the deal. If they win, when I tell you that their alums will pony up again, because they'll say, hey, we spent money in the portal, and they got to win against the mighty Crimson Tide. So it could be pandemonium in this state tomorrow, about 6:00 tomorrow afternoon, if they win. I don't think they'll win, but it just depends on if Tommy Reese and Nick Saban want to give them the game.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That simple. It is that simple. Do they come out? Because if Lane Kiffin was calling, I told you this the other day.
Over.
If Lane Kiffin had Milroe as a quarterback, he would have him in New York City. Mm-hmm. He would literally be in New York City as I'm not saying he would win the Heisman. He would be a finalist because he would have that type of production. Because we love mobile quarterbacks, right? We love it in college football, especially ones who can throw, and he would draw up plays, and he would be successful. He would do those bubble screens that Blake Sims did with Amari Cooper, and it would work. But I don't know if they have it. They don't have a wide receiver.
All right, tell me that. Who is their best wide receiver? Who is your best wide receiver?
Let me put them in a pot and just pull them out. Okay, Jermaine Burton. Let me try it again. Ja'Cory Brooks. Isaiah Bond. Oh, no, hold on. Let me try that. Kobe Prince.
Are these guys 4- and 5-star players out of high school?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, very few of the skill guys are less than a 4-star. There might be a few. Most of them are 5. There's some talent at the wide receivers, but so far it's not been a strength. It's been a weakness. They've not been able to get separation. I mean, it's just been like glue. And see, that allows you, when you're wide receivers, when you're able to play man on man and you don't have to go to a zone, and you believe that your defensive back can shut down those wide receivers, then look at the pressure. You can bring it from all different sorts of ways because you don't believe that those wide receivers can get open.
Yeah.
They're all number 2 guys.
Pete Golding has to take chances, no doubt about it. And He and Kiffin want to beat Nick Saban so bad they can't stand it. I agree with you. If Lane was calling the plays for Alabama, over. Ole Miss would not have a chance. But Ole Miss has the better play callers, in Bryant Denny tomorrow. What about tight end? What's going on there for the Alabama Crimson Tide?
See, we thought tight end would be a huge part of it, but the short intermediate passing game has just not been there. It's not been there for any of the quarterbacks. It's not been there for Jalen Milroe. The touch is just not there. Will it get there? We'll see. Now, since this is, quote, his football team, the tight end caught one pass down the seam last week, C.J. Dupree, from Ty Simpson, and it looked, really, really good. It was a good pass, and he's got really good hands, but they've, 3 games in, they've not been able to use them. And I think they've really got some, their tight ends may be better pass catchers than your wide receivers. I thought going into the season that the tight ends had a chance to lead the team in both receptions and yardage. And that has, because that's what Tommy Rees did at Notre Dame. I mean, he used the tight ends, and they've got Amari Niblack, who is a freak. I mean, he's a mismatch. Just physicality, size, speed. He's a guy that can, turn it on. But they've not been able to give him the football. I mean, the most successful play in the pass game has been the deep ball. I mean, which is so odd, but the deep ball has been Milroe's best ball, and I guess in ways it's been Alabama. Those long plays, the short intermediate stuff has just not been there. And really that hurts you in the passing attack. But I think the best play is to run. Now this is elementary Ryan calling a play. I'd bring me 4 wide receivers out there, and I'd go 4 verticals all the way down the field. Okay, I'd get those defensive backs as far away from it because they're the only ones that can catch Jalen Milroe.
Fair
I'd
enough.
take 4 verticals, and I'd run him on that design type of run. I'd have 4 verticals, and I'd run him. And I would literally run him because if you get those defensive backs further away from the line, unless there's just an angle, there's not a linebacker going to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the play. I know it sounds so elementary, but I believe it would work because I think that is something that they need to utilize him on these design runs and design them, use it to his strength. That's part of his game. And, he's an average thrower. I mean, he could throw, your teammate there, Matt Wyatt, came on our show and talked about his mechanics, really loves him as a thrower. So I think there's some potential there, and I'm kind of excited to see, this next big step. Let's see if this Alabama team, because listen, they went out, they get to Atlanta, they win there, they're in. So we can all look back and say how Nick Saban made us look funny back in September. But do I believe that's going to happen? No.
I don't either. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there. Are you going to Dreamland today to pregame, get your mind right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I got some Ole Miss friends that are in town, and I might just
hold on. You have Ole Miss friends?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean,
okay.
College football is supposed to be fun, Bo.
No question.
Just because I said Alabama arrogance, Vanderbilt trophy, Gavin, I love you guys. I mean, the Harvard of the South right there in Oxford, Mississippi. We depend on you guys to up the GPA. We thank you for that.
I like that tongue in cheek. All right. Well, I hope you have fun. Well, I guess it'll depend on if y'all win or not. But I hope you have a good weekend. And
are you coming to me? Are you and I are going to the game together?
Hell no. I don't go to – no. I've already been – I was in Tuscaloosa last month.
All right. But now listen, okay, but make me a promise because we've got Magnolia State back-to-back. We're going to go Ole Miss here.
Okay.
And then we load to Mississippi State. I'll see you in Mississippi State, yes or no?
Yeah, I'll be at that game.
I only go for the ice cream. I'm not going for the football game. Screw the football game. I'm going for the ice cream.
Because y'all always win by 40. I mean –
Yeah, but I'm going for the ice cream. The ice cream at halftime, 8:00 start next Saturday night in Stark Vegas. Oh my Lord, I love going to Starkville to watch a game. I know that's going to sound crazy. I love the atmosphere. I love the energy.
It's a great atmosphere.
It's one of the most underrated atmospheres in college football.
No doubt.
Pecan Grove doesn't do anything for me. It's too busy, too many people. Mississippi State, my kind of folks. Y'all have a great day.
Okay, buddy. Roll Tide. See ya. Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game, Tuscaloosa. Bama Insider. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Don't forget that Mudbugs in Brandon, West Government Street downtown's open this weekend and all throughout football season. And they have the amazing shrimp, great menu of food, sandwiches, burgers, quesadillas, all kinds of good nachos. I'm getting hungry. What time are they opening today? I think they open at 3. Goodness gracious. They got a great selection of craft beer, including Mississippi Queen, Key City.
Come on. Blonde Ale, amazing.
Yeah, yes. We have Key City on tap up here. It's delicious beer from Vicksburg. And SoPro, Southern Prohibition, right?
Yeah.
SoPro from Hattiesburg. So they got a great selection of beers on tap, downtown Brandon. They'll be streaming the Brandon game tonight. Mudbugs, downtown Brandon, open for the biz, great food, and cold beer. All at Mudbugs for high school, college, and NFL football. Well, I feel like I'm going undefeated in my picks.
Really?
Yep.
Should we go back over those?
Yeah, I don't even remember what I did, so tell me.
But you feel confident.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
it.
that was 2.5 hours. I've had to say a lot of stuff since then.
Of course, yeah. So you went Florida State -2 at Clemson.
I like that.
Norvell taking control. Then you went Colorado +21
Don't love that, but I
at
did.
Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Scale of 1 to 10 feels like a 6. Go ahead.
but it's possible. That's a lot of
It
numbers.
is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. Ole Miss at Alabama. You took Bama -6.5,
Don't feel great about that.
but could be safe.
Yeah.
Unless my prediction is correct and Ole Miss scores the 42.
It'll make our show in fuego on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week.
If that happens, I expect an apology from every listener on the text line. Moving on
That's
to
never going to happen. I've been in this business long enough.
Auburn is a 7.5 underdog at A&M, and you're saying Jimbo covers.
No. I took the points.
Okay, you took the points. See,
I took Auburn.
I thought
I
you
want the
took
7.5.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Then you also went Mississippi State covering.
Did I?
Yeah, I have it underlined.
Good Lord. First 1 to 20 in Columbia, South Carolina wins. Jason's going to Busch Light is the tailgating beer of choice tomorrow at the Homestead. You can find it at Fleetway Market. Hey, the Fleetway Market in Clinton's open. It's nice. Fleetway Market in the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. All those smoked meats, ribs, pulled pork. Got a great selection of beer. Key City, Stella Artois, Kona Big Wave, SoPro, Southern Prohibition. All the good stuff. Fleetway Market. For Jason, I'm your host, Bo Bounds. Have a great weekend. Man, the slate of games is good. This is why we love it. Enjoy it. Soak it up. We'll be here Monday, and you can tell us how wrong we were.